I was thinking about something I wanted to share with you guys. Yesterday, I was thinking about there was this guy years ago that I dated. It was a pretty long time ago. And he was very, very wealthy. He was an heir to the Wrigley's fortune. And I remember him telling me, I didn't ask, but he told me he was worth like, I don't know, 800 million or something like that, which was just like this astronomical number to me. I thought that it was really fascinating, but I've never been money motivated, especially when it was like someone else's money. But he kept saying, like, I'm going to spoil you, I'm going to spoil you. And I just remember thinking, like, don't do that because it's going to make me uncomfortable. And he did, like, he tried to, but I remember this one time he flew me from Arizona, where I was living at the time, out to California, where he lived in Orange County. And he took me to where he lived, and he's like, these are my houses. And he bought all three or four houses that were like right next to each other because he wanted to have sort of control over what happened and wanted to have like the most privacy that he could have. And I just remember thinking, like, how is that even possible? Like, how do you own four houses that are like right next to each other? Um, and then he was like, do you want to see my cars? I said, yeah, I'll go see your cars. So he took me to this like big parking lot, and there were a bunch of guys kind of running around working, and they were just like tons of these sports cars. And I remember standing there in the parking lot, and I said, what do you want to do, like, when you grow up or when you get older? Like, what do you want to be? And he said, nothing. I'm already doing it. Like, I'm it. Um, and I just couldn't wrap my head around that because this guy had so much money and he just wasn't really doing much with it except just like blowing it on stuff. And it didn't seem like he really wanted to help anyone with his wealth. So not long after that, I left him. I just didn't see a future with us. So anyway, I was thinking about him yesterday, and I looked him up to see what he was up to. And I didn't know this, but he had died a few years ago, apparently from a heroin overdose, which is really sad. So I was thinking about that, led me to thinking about um, XRP holders and crypto holders that make a lot of money, and that there will be XRP holders and other coins that are going to be supremely well off in the, some in the short term and some in the longer term. But I think, as a rule, many of us, not saying you, of course, maybe other people, are not we're not necessarily always equipped emotionally or intellectually yet to handle the scope of that and what that means, right? So we know that XRP is still very much in its financial infancy stage. We see that all kinds of things are happening, but the reflection hasn't necessarily shown up yet in the price that we're seeing yet. And when it does, some of us, I think, are going to need to keep our heads about us, which is not easy. So that led me to, I remember this guy, which I wanted to show you. This is Terry Fader. He's like a widely known ventriloquist, which means he like speaks through dolls, I guess you could say. I don't know how else to say it. This is Terry's wife, Melinda. They look happy. Well, they look kind of happy, right? Kind of. They were together for 18 years, and then Terry signed a huge contract and made a lot of money, working as a Vegas headliner, as a ventriloquist. Um, this I thought was kind of funny. This is like maybe like the nod to the cabal, that hand gesture he's doing, or maybe he just likes to sit like that. I don't know. Anyway, somehow, after 18 years of marriage, one of them filed for divorce, and then a day after the finalization of the divorce, I think this was in 2010, Terry married a woman think she was 22, he was like 45. She was his onstage assistant. Where is she? Hawaii model, Taylor Makakawa. This is Taylor. I don't see anything out of the ordinary here, do you? Looks like a stellar fit. Anyway, fast forward in time, maybe it was a few years or so. I don't know. I try not to follow this stuff too much. Not enough conspiracy for me, but something happened between them and then they divorced. And then he married Angie. This is his third and currently final wife, I think. He's probably like, look, it's just money. You know, let me get back to being happy and like, this is me, water seeking its own level, right? They look really happy to me. Let's get into some dolphins. But anyway, you could say that maybe Terry leveled up when he came into the money, right? And if he did level up, is there really anything wrong with that? Not necessarily. And also, you know, did she marry him for his money? You know, you could say, looking at this couple, that they weren't maybe exactly a match, but what do I know? Anyway, so I was thinking about it and it kind of made me think. I came up with this test question, which there's really no right answer to, but this is what I was thinking. That I was wondering what people would think about this idea. So here's the test question. Anyway, so the scenario is XRP has just totally mooned and your initial investment has like replicated itself, let's just say 800 times, and has made you unreasonably wealthy in a very short period of time. You didn't tell many people initially, but somehow just couldn't help yourself and you told some people. Word got out, and word got out to your childhood dream girl. And if it's a woman, maybe your dream guy. This is the one that you never, let's say, had the chest hair to ask out. But don't worry, she somehow found you again, and she has made it very clear that she wants you and only you, and she's coming at you hard. Like, all your prepubescent dreams are coming rushing back to you. She was the one, not necessarily the one that got away, but the one that maybe never got close enough to you to even get away, right? So she's that one. And she never gave you the time of day before, but now she's got nothing but time. So you suspect that she's mostly or fully after your money, but this is definitely amazing and you're just clouded by, I don't know, hormones. So the answers are, do you, A, give in fully to her? By the way, you might be married, or maybe you're not, but you might be. Give in fully to her because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and you're now rich, so you can do whatever the hell you want, and she's right there. B, just assume that she only wants your money and just wise up and pass. Tell her no. Nope. No thank you. C, seek out financial advisor and casually ask in the first appointment if people who get rich out of the seemingly clear blue sky have unbearably hot women suddenly coming after them. Or last, consult some friends first who also tell you stop being so stupid and just do it because you only live once, and now you're totally confused. So you would just have to use your internal compass here. And I can tell you, saying no actually is not the worst thing in the world. It does get easier. Like, I do it all the time. My friends sometimes say, hey, do you want to come to bunko night with like 20 women? Nope. That sounds like hell on earth, but thank you. I don't even know what bunko is, and I think I'd probably like to just keep it that way at this point. I also had a childhood friend. I was never interested in him, but this guy, nice guy, reached out to me. Hey, do you want to go on a date? I just moved to your area. I'm married, but I'm not happily married. Nope. I have incurred enough bad karma in my lifetime on my own, and I think I'm going to pass. So that's a no. So back to leveling up. Not the worst idea, but divorces can be expensive for the one that's got the money. So just remember that. And I think with this guy, Terry, you know, there's universal themes in life. He's not necessarily unique. And I don't even think it's just men. Look at this woman. Where is she? Look at this one, right? Possibly, you could say she married up. And I think this guy's face tells you all you need to know. Going to be a long night for these two. But there's a really good documentary. It came out a couple of years ago. It's from ESPN and it's called 30 for 30 Broke. Check it out if you haven't. It's really good. The film summary is this. According to a 2009 Sports Illustrated article, 60% of former NBA players are broke within 5 years of retirement. By the time they have been retired for 2 years, 78% of former NFL players have gone bankrupt or are under financial stress. Sucked into bad investments, stalked by freeloaders, saddled with medical problems, and naturally prone to showing off, many pro athletes get shocked by harsh economic realities after years of living the high life. Could happen to anybody, right? Which brings me to test question number 2, just to consider. Once again, you just found yourself very wealthy. You're a lucky person. You can't even breathe, and it's unbelievable to you. Some very wise person cautioned you not to tell anyone unless you were sure they were financially set or maybe about to die, or you really, really trusted them. Needless to say, you told a few people, and here comes a family member coming down your driveway. You really love this person, but this person sits you down and tells you they need money really bad. And they kind of need a lot of money. They're crying. And all they want is X, Y, and Z for their kids. And you love their kids. But this is the second time because it turns out you gave them money last month. And it's starting to dawn on you that this may have no end in sight. Their last line to you was, "You are the only one who can help us." So what do? A, you give them anything they want. You love those kids. You don't want to be the reason they can't go to a good school. B, tell this person you love them, but you can't do it. Sorry, you guys are out of luck. And then you just feel bad for the next couple of years. C, tell them you'll help them, but you need to speak to your financial advisor first. D, tell them they're mistaken. You made some subsequent bad financial choices and now you're also in debt. So can they give you $20 for gas? Finally, I think this is E, you just run away to another state or country and never answer your phone again. You hear this stuff all the time, and I think it's the stuff that no one really tells us up front. Like, we don't learn about this in school. If you haven't seen this one already, Sam I Am from To the Lifeboats has a really good video on YouTube. It's called Sudden Wealth Syndrome. Check it out. There's lots of people, they get really wealthy kind of quick. You see it in crypto a lot, and in other ways. And then just all kinds of stuff happens that you always say it's not going to be you, right? So I'm just here to say, when those of you become insanely wealthy, because it will happen, don't be one of those people, because the odds are not always in our favor to do the right thing for ourselves, right? We're not always thinking clearly. I'm certainly no financial advisor, but please, as a suggestion, do your research now when it's slow. Look into things like financial consulting for when that day comes. And maybe even practice saying no, or just practice not saying anything in the first place, right? That's always an option.